Hey guys, welcome back. It's your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I am back with some more by Stealth and C coming soon to Kickstarter. Actually, I think it's coming to Kickstarter now in like the next couple of days. 25th, it is launching on Kickstarter by DVG Games. If you guys are interested, make sure you check it out. It will be there very soon. We're going to continue on where we left off. We're ready for our next round. SLCs 1 and 2 doing pretty decent. SLC3 down here sucks. These guys are not doing well. They have had fault after fault, and Patrolcraft beating the hell out of them, and they're almost out of this game. So let's hope that things turn around for them. We are at our fault check phase up here that we need to start with. So let's go to our little die. We will roll, see which one of these we're going to get. Let me move my X-Wing stuff out of the way, which I actually did pretty well tonight. Yay, good stuff. Our SLC2. That is not good. I was kind of hoping it would stick with 3, since 3 is the one that's dying off on us. All right, it is their transmission, and they got to make a repair check. But since SLC2 does have 2 skills, they get to make 2 dice rolls. Hopefully we can get a 6 here, not have to fail. That's not. So they do fail their transmission, which means they lose full move ability. They could do 2 moves. Oh, maybe we just continue moving on and try to fix that later. Okay, so we are to our SLC phase. Remember, we get 2 action points that we get to spend. Generally speaking, we'll do 1 action point to have a chance to succeed, 2 action points to guarantee it. Let's start with, oh no, it's SLC2? Why is 1 here? Did these guys get switched? Because I could have swore that was 1. I guess I had switched them around or something, or I had them in different places. I had it in my head this was 1 and this was 2, but nope, this is 1 over here and this is 2 because I haven't moved the board. Oh no, but he's so close. We're going to not worry about trying to repair that fault because he's close. I want to try to get him in there. All right, so let's go with 1 first. He's submerged. I can get up to 3 hexes. We're going for the chance. We're going to try to do a pilot check for him, which means he needs a 4 or better to succeed. Otherwise, we'll end up just getting 1 movement. So come on, 4 better here. Pilot skill. God, I think I got a 3 last time. All right, so we'll use 1 point and go forward. That's unfortunate. Now we will try to skirt through here. And this is SLC2. And they don't have a surge token. I really need to get those guys through there. And I don't believe I'm allowed to use 2 points to guarantee it. Evade net. Oh, I can do 2 for a guaranteed success. Should I do that? Well, if I'm submerged, it's a 4 or better. And I have not been hitting my 4 or betters. So if at least I get through, right? And get up there. But if I... see, if I just roll and succeed, it'll give me another point that I can move in on them and actually go after them. So I'm kind of leaning towards that. I don't know. I can't decide. Okay, so we are going to just take and risk it. We've got to do an ops check, which since we're submerged, that's going to be an op check 4. So we need a 4 or better. And I drop my die, so we'll grab a different one. And 5. Okay, that means we succeed. So we do evade the net for 1 action, and I will move here for my 2nd action. So we are now located there. That means on the next turn, we need to detach warhead and then attach the warhead. So we have to move the token from the SLC sheet to the ship, or to the counter, to our counter. And then we're going to move it from our counter to their counter on the board. And that's, it's either 2 turns. It's the same thing. I can either do it in 2 turns if I want guarantees, or I can do op checks for potential successes. I could do that in 1 turn if I get lucky twice. We might have to try that because we're getting close, and I really want to have one of these guys succeed in their mission. All right, so that was SLC2. I got 3 down here. 3 still has a transmission fault, but I need to get them the hell away. So we are going to go for a guaranteed move instead. have them move 1, 2 hexes up. Remember, you can move 1 hex just for 1 action point, guaranteed. At least this way I'm getting a little distance, getting him out of the way. These 2 ships are still close enough that if he gets detected, though, they can come after him. Otherwise, it'll be random, and that would be great, but we only have just a few cards left, and I know one of those cards is a 12, so more than likely we're going to have problems here. Hopefully it won't be for 2, but we'll have to see how it goes. All right, so we're going to be in our harbor defense phase right here at the top. None of my guys are surface, so it's all going to be 11 or better. SLC 1 is good. SLC 2, I need you to be good. You're good. Oh, it's getting close. How many cards? 2 cards. Good God, 2 cards. SLC 3 is good. So this means that whoever the next card is a guaranteed fail because this is the only card in the deck, which means Patrolcraft Response is going to hit number 1. No one is surface, they're all submerged, and he would need a 10 or better, and this is a 12! Finally, I cannot believe it was the last card in the deck. All right, so you remove the lowest, and actually that was great because it gave me a whole deck of the low numbers. That was really good. Remove the lowest numbered cards from the discard pile, max 6, and shuffle the deck. So that max 6 means the lowest number that you're going to remove out is the number 6 card. You're not going to remove any cards lower than that, just depending on how many times you hit this. Basically, this represents the defenses of the harbor getting harder and harder. So now we're going to pull out our 1s since they are the lowest cards in the deck. When we hit this 12 again, then we pull out the 2s, then the 3s, then the 4s, and then on up to the 6s. So give me a second, let me pull those out. Okay, so we're set back up. I've got the decks over here. I could have swore there were 1s in that deck, but I couldn't find any. So I went ahead and just pulled out the 2s. We're good. And I've got the deck shuffled up and ready to go again. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it doesn't have 1s. Maybe it's just 2s and up. I could be wrong on that, but that's the gist of what you do. You pull out the lowest numbers, whatever's in there, and then you keep doing that every time you hit the 12. So the 12 shuffled back in there. We are ready to go. I did place a Patrolcraft here in front of SLC 1, and he is detected. So let's draw for number 2. 2's good. Oop, just throw that out of the way. 2's good. Number 3 is also good. Oh, got lucky there. Means he's not detected. This Patrolcraft is exhausted, so normally he would move up, but since he's exhausted, he will not move up. I'll go ahead and flip him to... Actually, I'll wait and do that in the cleanup phase. I don't want to forget. But we will handle these 2 guys. Let's roll and see who they're going to move to. All right. We're going to number 2 for the first one, which is north. So he's going up. And second one is going to 4, which is bottom right. That's good. So he's going out of the way. They're kind of fanning out a little bit. They're away from my SLC. That's good. That is very good. No Patrolcraft can attack. No shore-based mortar yet. No anti-torpedo netting. So we can go to our cleanup phase. We'll move this forward. He's submerged, so the detected token comes off. Flip him over to ready, and we're set for our next turn. Okay, so let's roll real quick and see who our fault is going to be on this round. Hopefully it is number 3. And it is number 3. I felt kind of bad. Those guys are just having the worst time of it, but at least it's not the one that I've got actually doing something successful. Warhead, definitely a good thing that this was on number 3. It's a repair check, which their skill, again, is a 1, so that's not going to help them. Fail, place the token on this. The token can be placed back on it with a repair action. So they begin with 1 warhead. If the warhead's down, they can't conduct an attack. So we need to roll, see if he passes his check. He doesn't. So they have an extra fault. Their transmission's down, their warhead's down. Honestly, I'm not even going to worry about fixing this warhead just yet because they're not even anywhere near it. So we'll stay focused on number 2. All right, so let's get ready to conduct our actions. And I'm trying to decide here what I'm going to do. And I'm thinking, well, we'll get to 1 here in a sec. Or get to 2, because 2's the one that's up there. 1's over here. We'll start with him. Let's see, 1 still has a decent transmission, so I could just spend both of his actions doing single moves, get up here next to the torpedo netting, to get close to going on the next turn, and I don't have to worry about any of my actions. It keeps them submerged. I think we're just going to do that. Bam, bam. Then we're good to go. Oh, and I just realized my guys over here, they're still stunned. I forgot about them being stunned, because that can potentially kill them off the board. Let me make sure, I'm going to read the rules real quick, make sure there's nothing else that can potentially hurt them, but I think the stun might have another action on them. Yes, there is an effect to them being stunned like that. They only have one action point instead of two. I did miss that earlier. So SLC 3 should actually be back 1 hex from where they were, because they moved 2 hexes on the previous turn. So they should actually be back 1. And I've got to do a stamina check to try to get them flipped back over before they get caught. Okay, so we got that caught up. We got that fixed up. SLC 1 is good to go. Now SLC 2, I think we are going to go ahead and attempt to do this in 1 turn, because things are getting dicey. So we've got to do ops checks with this guy. Unfortunately, he's only got 1 die, but the ops check is for detached warhead and attached warhead is 4. So basically I got to make 2 4-up rolls with these guys to hopefully get this warhead over here, the one that's still working, attached to this ship. I've decided to just go to the first one in the harbor that's only worth 3 points. I could get a couple more points if I went there. Oh no, should I move? Give me 1 more turn. And I want to try to get these guys escaped out before it gets to 0500, because there's some penalties when it gets close to morning time. So I think we're going to just take the 3 and be done with it. Okay, so we will take and roll for detach and then attach. All right, so there's detach. And grab it over here, and it is on him. We'll just place this little counter like that so we know. And now I just need to attach it. Just attach it. Just put it on there, baby. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. We got it. We have planted our warhead. Good stuff. Okay, so I was reading over a couple things just to make sure, and this actually means that we have scored the points. So I'm going to just set this to the side. Know that we have scored 3 points there. That's good stuff. He's still there, though. They've got to make a scuttle and an escape action in the following turns, because it's not just destroying the ships. You have to try to get your crew out as well. So we still need to take care of that. All right, and we are going to finish up with number 3. They are stunned, so we're going to do a stamina check and see if we can get these guys back. What do I need? I think it's a 5 for these when they're doing a stamina check like that, to see about repairing their cord. And we got one. So they get to flip back over. Bam. Just like that. All right, good stuff. Oh, and I just looked, there's actually a penalty here. So there would be a -1 to their stamina. So their stamina is actually 1. We're not going to worry about changing the roll at this point, since they've already taking care of that crap. But for further notice, pay attention to our little penalty there for having our breathing gear messed up, and we will spend our other action going forward. Oh, and the stamina check was actually a 4 up there in recover, not a 5. So we were close. But that takes care of all of our actions for our SLC 3 or SLCs. We've got 1 close to getting into the harbor itself for another ship. We've got 1 that's actually taken out a ship. They've used their warhead, which is awesome. And another that's just putting the hell along because it's full of Navy guys who don't know what the hell they're doing. I did notice something interesting, though, that if you have a SLC that has a warhead on a fault card, like we do there is an action you can take called attack from SLC, and you can use that to target a Navy or cargo ship in the same hex as the counter. And if it's successful, then the cargo ship the ship is destroyed. But the problem is it takes 2 actions and you have to get a 6. So effectively, you have to have an op skill of more than 1. Because if you've got 1, you have to roll a 6 to get this to succeed. It's not very easy to get that one home. And none of my guys have an op skill over 1. So, yeah. All right, so let's continue on. We will go to our harbor defense phase. Got our good new deck here ready to go. SLC 1. They're all submerged. It's all 11 plus. 1 is good. 2 is good. 3 is good. Okay. And you guys see what I'm talking about this getting harder, though, because those low cards get pulled out. We got lucky on this deck just because the 12 was at all the way at the bottom. All right, no dive team. Nobody surfaced. We're in submerged. And it's going to be different for SLC2 because he is submerged and in the harbor. So his is going to be a 9+ instead of the 10+ that he had. SLC's 1 and 3 will still be 10+. So for 1, he's good. 2, oh no! Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is very much bad. He got detected on his way out. Oh, and the last ship is coming in exhausted right there in front of him. Oh, that's horrible. SLC 3. I think all the ships are drawn for, but yeah, because all the ships are on the board. There's 1 up here, and then 2 down here near this guy. So we're good there. Now we got to do movement. And this one is exhausted, so he can't do anything. He just came on the board. And none of these guys are within 3 hexes of a detected SLC. So none of them are going to move. It's all going to be, or they're not going to move towards this one. It's all going to be random movement. So 1, 2, and 3. 7 is staying put for 1. 2 is 2. It's going up. And 3 is going to be 3, which is trying to go off the board. It's still there. We're good. All right. And that's all we have left there. Don't have to worry about the netting here. So we will move this on. And since he submerged, this detected token will come off. Okay, so I'm actually going to skip ahead past the vault check phase that we start with for our next turn because I want the video is getting a little long and I want to show you guys how you finish things out once you've gotten to this segment. And I've actually got a ship right here ready to go. Now, the actions that you need to take when you're trying to complete it is to scuttle and then escape. Now, scuttle is just a simple 4-up ops check. Okay, that's all that is. But escape changes things up a little bit depending on a few different factors like where your SLC is located and everything. So let's start with our scuttle and we'll see if he succeeds with that and then we'll see how the escape's going to work. So we will roll and do a 4-up on his ops check. Please get the 4 up. No, it's a 1. So that means he would fail his scuttle. But let's say, for example's sake, since, like I said, we're getting towards the end of the video and I want to show you guys this stuff, that he had succeeded on his ops check, you would take the scuttle and you would place it up here in your scuttle box to signify that the SLC has been scuttled. But you see here where it says operators escape. So that's our other action that we're taking with these guys. I'm going to show you guys the rulebook here. Now there's a lot of modifiers that are going to affect this. So escaping is a special action that resolves differently than other actions. To perform an escape action, choose to use 1 or 2 action points and then make a stamina skill check. Use the highest die roll result and modify it as follows. +1 if 2 action points, +1 if the time token is on 0500 or earlier, which is why I was wanting to do it now rather than too much later. -1 if inside the harbor. So technically right now I'd still be at a 0 because I've got +1 for the time, -1 for being inside the harbor, -2 per patrol craft in the same hex. At least that patrol craft is above me, not on me. And -2 if in Algiers or Alexandria, which, where the hell are we anyway? I don't think we're in Algiers or Alexandria. We're in La Spezia, so we're good. We're not either one of those places. Like I said, I think the game comes with 3 different maps. So the modifiers that apply to us, we're going to be a +1 and a -1. So it comes out to a 0. And what you're looking for is basically a 4 or higher. So if you get a 0 to 3, you are captured, and that removes the card from the game. So like SLC2 over here, if they get captured, bam, you lose these guys that have that extra plus to their repair skill. You don't want to lose that. So you want to try to have these guys escape when they perform their actions. So let's roll. We're looking for a 4 or higher. Come on, give me a 4 or higher. 4 or higher. 4. I will take the 4. All right. So when that happens, you take your card and you place it over here in the operator's escape box, and that signifies that SLC 2 is done with the game. We scuttled the ship, and then our operators have escaped. Now, there are other circumstances in which you can take an escape action, and that can be after making one of those random attacks that I was talking about, or if your SLC is attacked by like patrol craft and your guys are stunned, all right, and they're on their stun side, and then they take another hit when they're on their stun side, then you're automatically going to make an escape check for them. But more than likely, you're going to have patrol craft right there in your hex, which is going to get you those negative points, or as you saw with this one earlier, multiple patrol craft that could have up to what? -2, -3, 4, -6 on your dice roll. So it's almost guaranteed that your operators are going to get captured. So you have to be careful on those patrol craft being around you and getting those attacks off. What I found is it's best just to keep these guys heads down. Yeah, you want to try to stay on the surface and scoot away, but it's so much easier to be spotted and to be seen if you're on the surface. I just personally think it's better to take it a little bit slower, go the turtle route, take your time on getting in there, and avoid having the higher chance of having your guys get detected and obviously attacked by the patrol craft. All right, and there was something else I wanted to show you guys here real quick, something that I like about this game when it comes to the campaign system. And I've mentioned it previously, is the fact that things will change up as you go along. One of the key things is the fault cards, which I've already explained that the fault cards, like you see where it says here, SLC prototype, so that's going to change up. There's a whole bunch of different fault cards that come with the game, and as you get better equipment, you'll switch out the fault cards that are in this deck for the ones that you start with. So basically your prototype stuff is a lot more likely to break and fall apart because it's prototype. It's not as tested, and the newer equipment works better. But the key thing, what I really like, is the harbor defense system here. So the way this works is depending on what happens. So in our little example mission that we just did here, I got 3 points for killing the ship itself. All right, so you get for the alert value, you're going to add the points of the ships that were destroyed, but you also add points for the SLCs that were found. So let's say that SLCs 1 and 3 were found because they failed in their mission. Well, that would add 2 to it. And then if the only operators that escaped were the ones from SLC 2, that would add a point for each one of those operators as well. So for just this example mission that we did, we got 3 victory points that add to our harbor defense, and then 4 points for the SLCs and the operators that were captured, which would put us up to an alert value of 7. And that's when you see, you can scroll over here and it shows you what stuff gets added to the game. There are extra patrol craft that can be added to the game. And like I said, there's a whole bunch of different cards over here that get added, and you'll just, place them over whatever section that they're taking over. But it can add things like the underwater dive team, the shore-based mortar. It can make it to where the stuff that's already there works better. The searchlights are more likely to spot you. Instead of it being 10 and 11, it could be 9 and 10, and so on. It's going to change everything up as it goes along. So the better you do, the harder it's going to get to keep doing well. And as you play through the campaign, I think the campaign itself is like 9 missions. I believe, yeah, there's 9 missions in it. All the stuff's going to change. You're going to have new equipment, and then the enemy is going to have new equipment. So you can kind of start off easy, like a video game, learning the ropes, figuring your way through it, and then at the end, you're using your best equipment, they're using their best equipment, and you're trying to get, however many points you can. Really like how this system operates, because it's realistic that the better you do, the more you destroy, the more likely it is they're going to increase their defenses in these harbors. So like I said, I can't really comment very much on the components because, again, these are all prototype components. But I do like the look of the game, and I like the thought process. And the big thing for me on this game was the coming down to what actions I'm going to take. There's not a whole lot of mitigation you can do about the harbor defenses. They're just going to keep getting harder. It's the choices you make as you're moving through. Do you take the risk with your crews and try to squeeze off that second action so you can get a little farther, or you can get submerged and move? So like if your SLC is detected, maybe you want to drop them down and move a hex, but you've got the patrol craft there, so you really don't want to be close to them, but it's not guaranteed since blah blah blah. Getting choked up over. It's not guaranteed since you have to roll off on it if you're spending just one action point, but it's a guarantee. You guys saw me do that earlier in one of the previous videos, where instead of moving the ship, I decided just to spend both points flipping him over to submerged, so at least I knew he was down out of the way. It would make it harder for them to get their attacks off during the defense phase since he was submerged, and at the end of the round, with him being submerged, that detected token was going to come off, and it would give him a chance to scoot away. So yeah, I gotta say, all things told, I like By Stealth and Sea. It's by David Thompson, which for me is just, no questions. It's like, okay, yeah, I want that. Pretty much everything he's done, I like. Strangely enough, for me, my favorite so far of his has been the For What Remains, the miniature-esque war game, the futuristic one. And not as many people were into that one, too. If you guys haven't checked out For What Remains, go look at it now. Friggin' awesome game. Even good fluff in the damn game. I couldn't believe it. Great fluff. Go check the damn game out. I think that one's officially releasing here soon, too. All right, but like I said, coming to Kickstarter here in the next couple of days. Make sure you guys go check it out if you are into this type of stuff. This really did open me up to a part of history that I never even knew about. I knew that they were like frogmen and shit like that back in World War II, but guys who were doing this stuff, I had no idea. I didn't know the Italians were doing this crap, and all the neat stuff that was going on had me look into a bit of history that I never heard about. That's one of the things I really love about wargaming. All right, but if you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, bones, bitches, grass, complaints, all that good stuff, feel free to put it down below. Y'all take care. I'll catch you in the next one.